Hi everyone, welcome to the podcast. My name is Kristen. You can find me on Instagram as Skein Yarn and on Ravelry as K10, that's K10. Thank you so much for all your comments on the last podcast. They were so nice to read and I'm so glad to be back. It's been such a long time. Someone said it was 2 years that the last podcast was uploaded, so it's a long time. But anyway, it's good to be back. So this week, for the last few weeks since I podcasted, we have been busy getting our little studio shop open or ready to be open. There's so much to do still, but yes, we have set the open date for next week on Friday. So really excited about that. And then what will happen is if you want to call in to see us, we're going to be open every Friday from 10 till 3, and then from Tuesday till Thursday we're going to be open by appointment only. So if you're coming through on your way up or down the coast, or if you're a local and you want to pop in and it's not Friday, it's going to be Tuesday to Thursday, just contact us and we can arrange to meet you at the studio. The thing is that the reason why we can't open at the moment for the whole week is basically because I'm dyeing yarn and Paul's packing. So there's really no one to man the shop. Also in summer, I'm a complete mess when I dye because it's so hot. I just can't really be out talking to anybody because I'm just, a sweaty mess. It's terrible. The way we sort of thought we would get around that is to open Fridays, which we usually are at the studio on a Friday, which is today actually, and I have been there, but we usually are there. So and I'm usually available because if there's any knitting questions or yarn related questions, I mean Paul can answer the yarn related questions, but he's not a knitter, so it's good for me to be around just in case. So I'm really excited about that. I have been dyeing lots of yarn, getting it packed into our little studio space. It is tiny, but it's perfect really because we're not a huge business, so we don't have a huge amount of yarn. So it's a nice little space for us to display what we have, and hopefully some of you guys can come and visit. It'd be really exciting. I think that's all I needed to say about that. So I have a couple of projects to share with you. I have been pretty much knitting on 2 main projects and then I've just cast on a new one. One of the projects I left at the studio because it's now become a sample for our open day on Friday, and that is the Sotto il Sole by Locatelli. That was the shawl. It's been finished. I love it. It was knit using our ACM yarn, which is, I cast on another project with that yarn, which is this fluffy, lovely alpaca, cotton and merino. And thank you to one of the viewers who suggested ACM as the base name. I thought that was brilliant, so that's what I went with. So I'll put in a couple of pictures of that shawl finished. I took some pictures yesterday. I actually meant to bring it home to show you, but I just completely forgot. So I knit the shawl out of, like I said, ACM. The main color was parchment, which is this lovely kind of yellowy gray. I just love this color so much because it goes with so many other colors, and just peachy. So a very lovely design. I really enjoyed it. It's mainly garter stitch, which is, who doesn't love garter stitch? I know there are people who don't, but I love garter stitch. There's a few nups, which I don't love knitting nups, but the way Joji has written them, it's very, very easy to do. So yeah, I didn't mind doing that. And there's only one, well, there's 2 rows in the whole pattern, but it's only like 1 row, and then the second row later. My cat is going crazy. And then there's a lovely lace section, which it's a striped lace, and the lace itself, when you look at it on the pattern, it seems complicated, but it's actually very easy. I think it's only like a repeat, 4-row repeat. That is very easy to memorize. So yeah, I've thoroughly enjoyed knitting that, and I'm going to enjoy wearing it too. The second project, which I was knitting at the same time as the shawl, because the shawl was quite easy to knit, so I had something a little bit more complicated, is the Alpine Bloom Tea by Caitlin Hunter, and it's knit out of ACM as well. And here it is. Just trying to work out which one's the back. Okay, that's the back. It's so lovely. So it's obviously color work, top down. It starts with this really nice lace neckband, and then pretty much straight into the color work. And the color work itself is very, very easy to knit. I spoke about this on Instagram. It's just a small repeated chart that's obviously repeated over and over and over again. So it's very, very easy to knit, I found anyway. I didn't have any problems messing up or anything. It just went so smoothly. And yeah, so the colors are parchment again, which my next project has parchment too. That's how much I love this color. And cherry. Yeah, and it's very beautiful. I've finished the color work now, and I'm on to the body. And I did actually gauge swatch this. I think the pattern does recommend swatching in color work. Now I didn't do that, and I know that when you knit color work it is a bit looser, but I did a swatch out of just stockinette stitch. But I feel like it might be, maybe not. It feels like it might be a bit big, and it probably will block out a little bit bigger. Not that I'm worried about that, because I actually, when I went to cast this on, I really wanted to have this a bit bigger than normal. And I'm going to crop it too. I actually like, I like sweaters that are a little bit oversized and cropped. That's just how what I prefer. Obviously that's why it's so wonderful that we can create our own knitwear, because we can knit it to however we like. So yeah, I don't have much to go on this. It's just simple stockinette in the round body, and then obviously the hem. The sleeve, there is a lace section, and if I read the pattern correctly, you knit the lace sleeve separately and then you attach it with a 3-needle bind off, I'm pretty sure. So that's going to be interesting. But yeah, really, really enjoyable. And I've been documenting this a lot on Instagram. So yeah, that was Alpine Bloom by Caitlin Hunter, and it's a very, very popular pattern. There's lots and lots of them being knit. Now, the last pattern that I have on my needles, so when I finished the color work on the Alpine Bloom, I wanted something easy just to, I finished the color work on the Alpine Bloom, so that meant that I had a body that was easy to knit while I was watching TV, and I wanted something a little bit more difficult to knit, when I have more headspace, basically. So what I decided to do was, I've been really, really wanting to knit a Soldotna crop by Caitlin Hunter, another Caitlin Hunter pattern. I seem to be very drawn to her patterns lately. So yeah, I love the Soldotna crop. I have, knit one, it was quite a long time ago, and I really wanted another one. So I had been looking at the Ravelry pages, which I find people's projects very, very handy, just to sort of skim through and read if they had any project notes about, you know, gauge, yarn, pattern, whatever. Anyway, there was quite a few people who had knit the a 3-color version, because the version itself is 4 colors, but there was quite a few where people had knit it in 3, and I really, really liked that idea. So I decided to cast one on, and I had some yarn left over here that was at home in my stash of our cushy DK. So this is it. I have knit so much of this. It's just incredibly, I remember when I knit the Soldotna the first time, I was just amazed by how quickly it knit up. And yes, it is a cropped sweater, but the color work just seems to fly off the needles. Again, it's lovely and easy. There's lots of this one-to-one color work knitting, which is really easy to do. Stripes. This section here is very easy. Like the charts are very easy to follow and can actually, well, I find them easy to do while I'm watching TV. So I am using Olive, which is a lovely dark green, Parchment, and this one is Orchid. And yeah, it's stunning. I'm just absolutely loving it. So I quickly finished the color work again, which I was sad to do because I'm just really in a color work mood. And now I'm onto the body, and again I plan to crop this, not as cropped as what it has in the pattern, because the first time around when I knit that, I found that the size was a little bit too small for me. That could have been my fault with the color work, with the tension, and also it was quite high. And usually when I knit a cropped sweater, I usually have to add an inch or 2 anyway, because I'm quite tall. So that's what I'm planning to do with this. It's still going to be high hip crop kind of length. I also decided to knit the medium. I have the old pattern, and I know she changed it because there was extra small to extra large, I think, but then she updated her pattern and now it's size 1, 2, 3, 4, and it goes right up to size 10, I think. So yes, it's much more size inclusive, which is great. So I'm not quite sure what number I'm knitting, but I do know with the old pattern it's the medium size, because I wanted it to have a little bit more room for me. And yeah, so it's knitting up beautifully. Hoping to get this done for Friday, and then I can have it out as a sample for the shop. That's the problem though, I'm thinking with the shop opening up, I'm knitting all these things going, oh, I'll put that in the shop for a sample, but I really want to wear them, so oh well, might have to just knit another one. And if you signed up to the newsletter, I actually wrote quite like a detailed thing about how to knit a 3-color Soldotna, how to choose colors. I am actually thinking I might just copy and paste all that and put it in a blog post, because people who are new to knitting or haven't knit much with, knit a lot of color work, they might find it helpful just to sort of work out how to choose colors. And yeah, and I've done all the yardages, so if you have DK yarn, you'll know how many skeins to use. Okay, oh, and the only other thing I was going to mention with the 3-color Soldotna is with the original there are these little kind of color work blips. So you knit 2 and then you change yarn, so it's like a small little kind of color work pattern within the body itself. The first time I knit that, I didn't enjoy knitting that. I actually thought if I ever did it again, I wouldn't do it. So because it is a 3-color, that 4th color is what you use in the body. It's also what you use up here too. But where was I going with that? Anyway, whatever. I don't mind, I'm fine. I actually quite enjoy just having the plain body. So if you're doing the 3 color, obviously you will not have the little color work blips, but then if you do want them, I mean, you could just choose one of these colors and have them in the body. And because I've been sort of knitting wholly and solely on those 3 projects, I don't have much else to show. I mean, that's quite a lot. I've done almost half of 2 sweaters and a shawl, so that's pretty good going. I do have a couple of things that my eyes have been drawn to. So when I put out the DK today, actually we had an update, and it's our cushy DK, and I put out the mailing list, and when I do them, I like to add pattern suggestions at the bottom of the email. And one of the suggestions was Locatelli's Hipster cowl, and I know I just knit one of her shawls, but I love her pattern, so that kind of, I actually have knit one of those. I knit one with our worsted yarn, but I can actually knit it with our DK, because our cushy DK is actually quite thick, so it's a very, very wearable shawl. So I'm thinking I might cast one of those on. And the other shawl, the other pattern that has cropped up that I absolutely love is the Tessellated vest by Andrea Mowry that was just released today, and I have actually been really wanting to knit a vest, and I really, really like it. It's cropped again. I love the color bands, just the plain color bands, and how it's kind of checked, how she's done the check pattern. I do know she uses Skein's 3 different yarns. I think one's a mohair and 2 are sport. So I'm sort of thinking about how I might, what I might use for that. I don't have a lot of sport at work at the studio, so yeah, I'm just gonna let my cat out, hang on. So yeah, I don't know what I'm going to use for the tessellated vest, because I'm pretty positive that I really want to cast that on. I do have mohair silk lace, but yeah, just need to decide what other colors, what other yarns to use. And that is all for this week. I will next week take a video of the shop area for you. I was going to do it today, but it's still not set up fully. There's still a few things I need to do. So once it's all ready to go, I will go in there and take a little video and share it with you next podcast. And yeah, I hope you're all doing really well. I really hope that if you're local or if you're holidaying on the East Coast and you drive past Coffs Harbour, that you will drop in and see us. And yeah, feel free to email us if you're coming through on a different day than Friday, and I can meet you in the studio. It is located right on the Pacific Highway. It's where the hospital is in Coffs Harbour. Instead of turning, if you're coming up the coast, instead of turning right into the hospital, you turn left, and we're kind of just around the corner in the industrial area. But I've written all directions, and there's a little Google map and everything on our website, so I'll put the link in down below for that. And of course, everything else I have linked as well. I don't think there was there something else I was meant to talk about? I think that was it. Yeah, it just seems like there wasn't a lot to say. But anyway, hope you're doing really well, and I will see you next time, hopefully in another couple of weeks. And yeah, keep well and talk to you soon. Bye.